All right, it is Monday, December 16th. It is 5:20 a.m. This is, or will be, well, once it's completed and up on YouTube, I believe the 28th installment of In the Grip of ThermostatAnon. And ThermostatAnon is, of course, the YouTube censorship algorithm, which removed this particular video that's referenced here in this long acronymic title, whose original title was In the Grip of Q-MAGAnon, and that's what basically we've been calling it. The series is, if you've been listening and watching the series, it's a long extended argument against ThermostatAnon's decision to remove the video that argues, quite, extensively and thoroughly that rather than producing harmful conspiracy theories, the video is in fact a critique of, not only conspiracy theories leading up to the January 6th insurrection, but other aspects of the questionable ethics of Trump's cabinet in his first term in office, and including, for example, yesterday we addressed Steve Mnuchin's contribution to the Great Recession, and questioned whether someone responsible for closing on 36,000 American homeowners' homes during the Great Recession is really the best, candidate for Secretary of the Treasury. We questioned whether the best interests of the American people are really part of an individual such as Steve Mnuchin's agenda, or whether it in fact seems to be an agenda of increasing, his personal and private wealth at the expense of all the rest of us, whether that means taking our homes or taking our jobs or taking our lives or whatever else it might be, that he economically gains from if he takes from us. And that's not really anything new about those individuals who like to hang around Trump. I mean, Elon Musk is, that's not his name actually. It's Leon Mosquito, and Leon Mosquito is certainly no different. We've talked a lot about how much money Jeff Bezos made during the period of COVID by violating health regulations and restrictions, and of course now he and well, I don't know if he's still the CEO of Amazon, but Amazon and Leon Mosquito want to do away with Americans' right to participate in contract negotiated labor, that is labor unions, a right that was established in 1935 and signed by a joint act of Congress, right, and signed into law by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, but who perhaps had the interests of the American people at least a bit more in mind, than individuals like Steve Mnuchin. So anyway, that's part of our argument, of what this narrative that is set in the meta-multi sci-fi comiverse attempts to perform as political satire. And in the process of explaining how it does that, we've discussed a bit of what our understanding of political satire is, how satire works, as well as a few more examples of figurative language, particularly forms of irony and various forms of irony, but sarcasm, satire, sardonicism. We've talked about synecdoche, hyperbole, metonymy, and metaphor. We've talked about the way that rhetorical strategies of deception often operate in examples of satire. In particular, we talked a little bit about the history of Greek comedy and its stock characters, particularly not so much um, not so much the others, but particularly the Iron and the Alazon. Um, what's the bumbling um, uh, bully called the Bumbalocos, something like that. Yeah, we haven't really discussed that one. I mean, the Alazons and Bumbalocos, or whatever the Greek word is, tend to kind of be conflated in the Trump universe, where they're both bullies and braggarts. But we've discussed some of that, and we may, I don't promise, but it looks like we're coming, close to the end, and this might be the final installment of In the Grip of ThermostatAnon, or it may be the penultimate installment, or I may be wrong. Sometimes we spend a long time, talking about Steve Mnuchin, and that was just one image. So I don't think we're going to go on so long today. I know that we're starting with an image of Lindsey Graham, whom I don't believe has any relationship to the graham cracker Grahams, although he does look a little Keebler elfy in a kind of doughy sort of way, I guess. Let's close this out and begin with the image. There's those, watery eyes and fleshy face that he has. I don't know why, but some of these like toxic Republicans that with these doughy faces, lacking chins, I just find them physically repulsive. He's one of them. Mitch McConnell is another one. The Trump boys and their little faces without chins, I find repugnant as well. That's kind of, not really to the point here, but Lindsey Graham is another one of these individuals who holds his mouth open like Tucker Carlson does, and I don't know why, but I always thought it would be fun, to invent a game, around individuals like this, where it's like a carnival game, and you throw a penny in there, and if you get the penny in the toxic Republican, then you win a prize. I'm not, sure what the prize would be. I think that the easiest one would be Tucker Carlson, because his mouth always seems to be open. But Lindsey Graham does it a lot too. He has this way of being like wrathfully indignant, and he'll snarl too. His lips will go back. He looks like an angry animal. His lips will go back, and he sticks his teeth out. I'm doing it right now. You can't really see it because I'm focused on him. He seems happy here. He must not be talking to one of the enemies from within. But he'll do this snarly thing, and it's always interesting because it's this like this mad dog reaction to what tends to be a completely like justified criticism of someone from the Trump universe, right? But he'll turn it around, and this is kind of what this image is all about. Although he's not doing the snarl here, but individuals who were accused of utilizing these conspiracy theories to promote the violence at the January 6th, 2021 event, also AKA, insurrection against the Capitol, were singled out, for questioning and in the process, right? Some individuals, leaked information. And for example, right, we talked about like the whole meeting with Mike Lindell or Mike Lindell or whatever his name is, the My Pillow guy that, you know, is particularly fond of pricing his pillows, you know, utilizing crypto fascist, you know, numbers. Graham would express this like indignant wrath and rage about like how dare they, you know, find out, you know, like what we're doing, and you know, and so rather than, you know, once the information of basically, you know, criminal, you know, activity was revealed, it's not the criminal activity that you get angry about, it's the who informed on these criminals. And this is kind of, you know, what's going on here. And so what he's saying is, I'm going to need a list of the names of anyone involved in the unmasking of Benedict Arnold, John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald, Michael Flynn, or who informed on anyone else who's ever later confessed to high crimes of treason against the United States on my desk by Tuesday. So he's in other words, he's not concerned with, you know, who committed the acts of treason against the United States, but who informed on them, you know, right? Like, so he's like playing the part of the secret police, you know, protecting the traitors here, right? And then someone in the press, I guess, you know, or who's not red, so you have the red bubbles and the blue bubble. Why is that Senator Graham? Again, you know, not related to the Graham crackers. He is like, well, let's not get into, you know, more slanderous or insulting, you know, name calling. I was going to say something about crackers, but why is that Senator Graham? That is because my, I guess, fellow Republicans and I take the offense of it says unmaking, but I think that's just a typo. I think it's supposed to be unmasking traitors as a significant threat to our ability to violate the law and the Constitution and get away with it scot-free simply by absolving one another of all the crimes we've committed in the new branch of the government we invented, called the Grand Old Pardon Party, or GoPP for short. So I don't think I need to say much here, except that we do seem to have another sort of prescient event. You know, it seemed very early on that, you know, a lot of pardoning was going to go on, involving, you know, not just figures like Michael Flynn and the rest of these folks involved in working, you know, as traitors, you know, against the best interests of the United States with Russia and other nations, you know, whom other nations we don't consider allies, right? But rather, I don't know if enemies is the right word, but certainly not, you know, our friends. And you know, Putin, in spite of what Tucker Carlson, you know, might say, think, do, or believe, is no friend of the United States, and that's why, you know, figures like Michael Flynn, like who's one of these great, you know, or grand casters of conspiracy theories, right, are so dangerous. And he would rather shout lock her up in relationship to presidential candidate, you know, such as Hillary Clinton, than he would admit, you know, that in fact, you know, Putin is a well, I mean, a lot of things, but tyrant, murderer, you know, authoritarian, you know, strongman, militaristic, colonialist, expansionist, you know, I mean, you know, it goes on and on and on. But you know, I'm not going to apologize for describing, you know, Vladimir Putin in such terms. If Vlad wants, you know, to do something about it, you know, he knows where I live, so he can send whatever remnant of the KGB he has to my home, and they can do their worst. Yeah, the Grand Old pardon party. So those individuals now, well, Trump is promising to do so. We'll see what happens, but you know, I believe it. He promises to pardon all the individuals involved with the January 6th event, 2021, aka the insurrection against the Capitol, and I guess we'll see. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So that's all we really need to say about this one. And here are some of the individuals who are going to be pardoned, I guess. Something about your security checks have arrived. Let's see if I can get more of that in. Or your reality checks. Your reality checks have arrived. And this one, you know, is the famous one with the horns and the American flag painted on his face. That's a violation of the Code of Flag Behavior, by the way, but I don't think anybody cares about that. Also, using the flag as a weapon is certainly a violation of the Code of Flag Behavior. The point of this particular image, as it's utilized here, your reality checks, you know, have arrived, and I guess it references those relief checks, right, in the time of COVID. So, you know. And some of the Republicans, you know, had a real hard time with that too, like, you know, wanting business to remain as usual, you know, even in the midst of an epidemic, and you know, the loss of American lives. So the policeman here, you know, looks like he's being very polite, and he's offering the Q-MAGAnons here milk and cookies. I think we still have some leftover cupcakes. I guess cupcakes for you if you care to return to the lobby, sir. And I think, in fact, there were cupcakes. I don't know if they were laid out, you know, for the insurrectionists, but they were there in the lobby, and I'm imagining him, you know, offering them the free cupcakes here. And the point of this image is, you know, we talked about, you know, Chad Wolf's like violent, you know, military put down of you know, protesters in Portland, protesting, you know, not just, but one of the main, you know, aspects of these protesters was, you know, protesting the murder of George Floyd, right, on May 25th, you know, 2020. I believe that's the correct date. So what this image does is it records and documents and you know, kind of laughs at how well the insurrectionists are being received here in comparison to those individuals protesting the murder of George Floyd. In Florida, we saw images of you know, Chad Wolf's military forces. We compared them to stormtroopers, and of course, you know, then Mr. Wolf, you know, he denied the relationship between stormtroopers and his use of military force. But you know, visually, it you know, in spite of what C-3PO, you know, said, but you know, really he was just reiterating, you know, or mouthing, you know, the words of Chad Wolf. But in spite of, you know, C-3PO's disagreement with R2-D2, you know, they do, you know, look a lot like stormtroopers, whereas this, you know, seems to be like, you know, fairly polite. So the reality check is this. This is the reality check. Okay, here are Trump's American patriots and the level of force chosen to resist them. And then, of course, there's all this, oh, that their rights have been violated. Oh, these poor insurrectionists, you know, suffering under these horrible conditions. But the truth is, this image, you know, versus the next image, and I think the next image might be the last image. in the series. So we may be done today and finish early, which is kind of nice because we can, you know, move on to other things and focus on, you know, focus on Christmas. Maybe, you know, Turkey can focus on the consumer capitalist, you know, American tradition of buying stuff on, you know, for December 25th and work with that. So we'll see. Let's see what the next image is. So your reality checks have arrived. Here are Trump's American patriots and the level of force chosen to resist them. And then, can I get to the end here? Oops, no. That's too bad. This is just a movie that plays. For some reason, I don't know. My videos are played in this application that is called TV, and I don't know what it is, but let's see. There should be another image. Oops, no. I want to go to the very end. And there should be a final image here. Oh no, it just cuts out. So I guess the final image got cut off. Anyway, went to the music playlist. This is, I think, the first playlist. So number 1 in the simple space-time travel communication coordinate set, or as Turkey wants to rename it, complex space-time travel communication coordinate set, and renaming the complex space-time travel communication coordinate set the even more complex space-time travel communication coordinate set. But unfortunately, I guess the last image, and this is just what I have on the desktop today, it's of no consequence. We'll go back to the maybe we just let it play out. I guess I could get in trouble for letting this play out, because it's what YouTube censored our work about. So I don't know if I put it up, you know, filming it with me speaking over it, thermostat. We certainly ironic if after all of the work that we did, you know, justifying the video, ThermostatAnon still censored, you know, our work. You know, apparently like completely incapable of learning or benefiting from our discourse in any way, shape, form, or whatnot whatsoever. But it's certainly possible. So I don't know, ThermostatAnon. So as you're looking at this and determining whether it violates your policies on conspiracy theory, you know, keep in mind, you know, all of the work that we've done over the past, you know, 27 installments, and then this final 28th installment of In the Grip of ThermostatAnon. And if you can remember all of the information that we provided regarding what political satire is, and how its meaning and significance has a different trajectory than a statement that is not presented in the form of satire or sarcasm or sardonicism, and particularly pay attention here. Okay, so we're not supporting Tucker Carlson's conspiracy theories, and we're not supporting QAnon, and we do believe that we really did land on the moon and that it wasn't staged. And this isn't Mike Pence. That was Mike Pence's doppelganger, the one created by Beelzebub, and hence the flies. You saw the fly on its head. And Mike Lindell really does sell those pillows with crypto-fascist price numbers. This really is part of a joint resolution of Congress. And Bill, okay, we know Bill Barr doesn't actually have red horns. That's part of the political satire. Josh, let's see, what do we need to say? He's okay. So Josh Hawley's name isn't really Crowley or Crowley. Michael Flynn, right? We're not supporting his relationship with Putin. That's not something we're doing. Okay, so we're not telling people here, ThRMATOStatAnon, not to vote. We're actually criticizing those individuals. We're not supporting all of the members of the House and then the Senate who failed to recognize Biden's electoral, win in 2020. I don't have a personal relationship with Big O here. Let's see. Ted Cruz really is Ted the Barbarian, so I don't know what to tell you about that. And these little angels really do probably talk to Mike Pence. This guy, that's what is his name? Oh, that's Tiny. And okay, here's Tiny again, and we don't support Tiny and the Mao Trump movement. Whatever Josh Hawley and St. Peter have to work out for themselves, like, we don't support any of those racist organizations. This is not a reference to that two hammer whatever skinhead group. It's rather a reference to John Henry. Okay, that's I Am Peach. He exists in the meta multi sci-fi comiverse. All right, Mark, let me see. I'm just trying to keep track of all this stuff that we shouldn't get censored for. 25,000 pledged human guardians. Those are not insurrectionists. Those are people that are supporting democracy in America. Here's Martian Manhunter helping out the FBI. He's not against the FBI. There's the little Q guy. We're not pro Q guy. We're pro this guy. Okay, Donald Trump Jr. doesn't really have a beard like that, but he does leave his mouth open sometimes when he talks. This is Rudy G. He actually does work for the great evil, so there's not much I can do about that. Madonna, desperately seeking Q-MAGAnon. I think, she actually, did participate in the manhunt for all of these criminals. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, good guy. Here's the good guy. This is the good guy. Here's another good guy. This is actually Groot pretending to be I Am Peach. You can tell because he says I am Groot. Otherwise you would say I am Peach. Rudy Giuliani really did want a trial by Thrones, or trial by Game of Thrones at least, and here he is with Sidney Powell, and they really are like conspiracy theorists, and he really does drip that stuff. There's I Am Peach and Groot, playing the part of Hamlet. Groot and I Am Peach really did perform a version of Hamlet, and I Am Peach, played Uric, and that's Mike Lindell. He really is a Christian nationalist, fascist. There he is again. And okay, so just a disclaimer here. Trump actually didn't promote this product. He promoted Goya products. So if I don't want to get sued for $15 million because I stated that he promoted the wrong product. This is Chad Wolf. He really is the world's oldest living frightened little baby boy. So I don't have to explain that. This is Will Smith in his role as Jay, and let's see. Okay. There's Chad Wolf again, America's oldest little baby boy. I don't know what the BAM means. Please don't censor me because of the BAM. These guys don't really wear armbands, but it's part of the political satire. Let's see. Okay, so here's the stormtroopers. These actually are stormtroopers. So these are this is a demonstration of the amount of force that was used against the protesters. Here's Yoda. He's confirming that they are in fact stormtroopers. The those are, you know, Chad Wolf's eyes. You know, they really are. You can see that he doesn't shave. I didn't make that up. That's spelled N-A-Z-I and rhymes with Yahtzee. That's Nazi. There, you actually, in some cities, you actually could step on Chad Wolf and get stuck to your Nike shoes. Donald Trump's head, to my knowledge, doesn't really come off and turn upside down. This is, you know, part of the political satire. Okay, so Christopher C. Miller, as far as I know, he does belong to the Megatherian movement and is a Sith. And of course, Rupert Murdoch has been a member of the Sith organization for a mighty long time. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. This is Mike Pence. You can see that there are no flies. That's the actual Mike Pence. Does anyone remember this guy? Anyone remember that guy? There's Lindsey Graham. There is no game where you can throw a penny in Lindsey Graham's mouth and get a reward or get a prize, but perhaps there should be. And I was explaining that there's an image that follows this one, but it seems to cut out. So that's it. You know, we'll see what happens.